Welcome to RVing in New England, the nation's only forum that puts you on stage with some of the biggest names in the RV industry. And now your hosts, John DePietro and Bob Zagami.
Look at that.
I still want to get that changed to Bob Zagami and John DePietro.
Well, you're going to have to work long and hard to get top billing.
Can you speak to the executive producer and see if he can take care of that?
Well, we'll bring it up in a management meeting.
Yeah.
And see what happens.
So a great show tonight, a jam-packed show tonight.
Excellent show tonight.
We got all the industry experts with us, and I think we got a few little comments up there already. Walt is up there, and we got about 9 or 10 waiting in the background. So we got some more comments there. So why don't Ryan wasn't able to join us tonight. So before we bring the cast of characters up, why don't I run the interview that I did with Ryan about 7 o'clock this morning.
Let's not say Ryan wasn't able to join us tonight. Ryan is still able to join us. He's just joining us on tape because he has several things to do. And the truth be told, we didn't start planning for this show until like yesterday afternoon.
No, I got it out there on Monday.
Monday. Okay. Well, I was off by a day.
All right. So let me show you why.
But we've got, before we go to Ryan, let's tell people that we've got a star-studded lineup with Chris Dougherty, Mike Sokol, and
the infamous Randy Murray.
And they are waiting in the wings. But before we go to our live guest panelists, let's see what Bob Zagami had to say with Ryan Hadley. Run that tape, Mr. Zagami.
Yes, sir. All right. Hey, Ryan, I appreciate you joining us today. I know you're getting ready to get out on the road and take care of all your customers, but I wanted to make sure that we had some appearance by you in the show tonight. So what would you like to talk about? This is our tech committee, our tech advisory board. We're getting into this end of the season. Maybe talk about a little bit about winterizing.
Yeah, we got a few, when it's that time of year now where everybody's done with the fun for the season and time to put them away and put them away good so that they can pull them out in the springtime and continue their fun without any issues. When you're winterizing, it's not like we were just talking about before. It's not just winterizing. You want to get all the water out of your system so that, you don't have any pipes freeze or anything happen over the winter. But you also want to check your roof seals, and you want to discuss whether it's a good option to put a cover on your unit or not, depending on your location and if the vehicle's in direct sunlight or you have lots of trees around it that debris could fall on the roof. So there's a few things you want to check out, not just drain the water and have a good day.
From a standpoint of winterizing, sometimes people just think that they only have to winterize, but are there other things that during that process that you recommend to the clients while you're there and while you're on their rig?
Well, I always get up and check the roof seals. Again, I offer options. If you want me to just come winterize it, drain the water, put antifreeze in it and have a good day, or if you want me to check out the roof seals and give the camper kind of a once over to make sure there's no damage or anything on the outside or inside that you might be alarmed at when you come springtime. So it's a good idea not just to winterize, but also check your camper out, roof seals, all your exterior seals, because the winters around here can be pretty harsh and can do a lot of damage. When water gets into cracks and crevices and it freezes and refreezes and thaws and freezes, it can cause a lot of damage.
Yeah, see, we don't have that problem in Florida. See that background? That's our winter. So,
yeah.
So
your jacket's on.
What else? One question that comes up all the time is about covering. Of course, down here they don't have to. Well, they should cover them down in Florida because the sun will bake the roof off, as John likes to say. But what about covering the unit after you're done with the winterizing, depending upon where they are and what they're doing?
So I recommend covering it. I think it's a good fall safe move to cover it. You know, it protects against the UVs. It protects against any damaging like limbs or tree branches or anything falling on the roof. You know, if you are not covered and you have a small twig fall or a small branch fall, let's say, and it hits a roof vent and breaks it, you have nothing to cover that, and you may not know it for a long time unless you look at your RV, you know, once a week or so. But when you do cover it, it's recommended that you get an actual RV roof cover, not a blue tarp. Do not put a blue tarp on it. It can't breathe and it can cause more damage than good.
Yep. Don't go to Home Depot and buy the $99 special.
Yep. Yeah. No, do that. You know, and like I said, I think it's a good idea to cover it. I get a lot of questions throughout my winterizing time where, you know, when you come to winterize it, should I cover it? And I always recommend covering it.
So you're just getting into the very busy part of the season, right? Because some people still do fall camping, and you know, depending on the weather, they can stretch it all the way to Thanksgiving sometimes. But at some point, they have to get it winterized. So whether they do it themselves or go to a dealer, they have to do it.
Yeah, no, I have a list of winterizations going on. This week right now is basically the hot and heavy starting week for winterizing. I'm just finishing up some jobs and stuff that I have, and then I'm going to be fully concentrating on winterizing for the next 2 weeks.
Great. Well, I appreciate you joining us, and I'm sure Chris and Randy and Mike will miss you. And but business comes first, family comes first, business comes second. So
yep. Tell all the guys I said hi, everybody.
All right, we'll do that. Thanks very much, Ryan.
All right, have a good one.
You know, Ryan is so true with a few of those points that he brought out about using a blue tarp. And I remember the late Mike Camuso, who had RVs or Us out in Oxford. We did a video it's probably 15 years ago now, but he said, look, you want to save some money and buy a blue tarp. You'll save it at the front end and spend it at the back end, because if your RV can't breathe, you'll cause more problems with mold and mildew. And as my friend Jeff at Majors has said over and over again, the winterizing part, meaning taking the liquid water out of the plumbing system, is only a portion of it. And I'm sure that our experts tonight will agree that winterizing is much more than just getting the water out, but also checking the seals, checking the roof, making sure that your batteries are topped off and that type of thing. But rather than hear from me, why don't we bring on the experts? And speaking of experts, Mr. Sokol,
a whole
Mr.
screen
Dougherty,
full, you know,
and Mr. Murray, the all-star team.
So Chris and
Yes.
and you know, get to Randy. Where are you guys? You seem to be all over the place. Tell us where you are and what you're doing right now these days.
Okay, well, I'm going to start off by giving a little bit of a question out there. I am at the place where the Great Flood of 1889 took place. So let's see if everybody figures that out. But I'm here for a month. We are doing RVTI Level 2 class, the hands-on sections. So we've divided our class into 2 cohorts, and we're doing those at the local career tech center. And
Chris, are you hoteling or are you RVing?
I'm neither, actually. I was very lucky that they rented a house for us. So, which was, you know, at the end of the day, saved money. You know, so Airbnb it. My RV is in some pieces right now, so I'm doing some major renovations to it.
You'd be taking a risk trying to get through the month of October and part of November without winterizing, right?
Well, actually, my RV is pretty well set up for it. So it's a quote unquote 4-season unit. So I've got tank heaters and things like that. So it wouldn't have been a problem, you know, using the unit during the month of October. But I just couldn't get it done in time. And so, you know, we rented the house, and that's working out just fine, actually.
It's always the guys that fix the RVs that don't get to fix their own.
They don't get to use it. Right.
They say no shoes for the cobbler's son.
That's it. That's it.
Right.
Mr. Murray, where are you these days?
So currently I am sitting in Mountville, Pennsylvania, which is between Lancaster and York, if you guys know where it is on the map.
You at a dealership?
I am, yeah.
Is that you doing that video behind you?
There is probably me behind me in a video, yes.
So we get to see double Randy.
Double Randy. Sorry for that.
Bob, we got to charge people for that.
Yeah.
You can have it all. I don't envy that much.
No, Randy, I meant it the other way around. I meant we need to charge you.
Oh, we should. Yeah, so send me the bill.
And Michael, you look like you're in your home lab.
I am. I'm in the Funkworks lab, located on Funkstown Hill, right outside of Funkstown, Maryland. And I'm not making any of this up.
That is all true.
It's all true.
Is there a big sign when you come down the road?
Well, it says "Welcome to Funkstown," but it doesn't say Funkworks Lab.
But does it have your picture on it?
No. We fly under the radar here pretty much. If my neighbors knew some of the stuff that I do here, I think they would be up in arms. Pitchforks and torches. You know how that goes.
You don't want to wind up on the 11 o'clock news.
No. I'm very, very, very careful with this, but a lot of stuff. I do a lot of testing here in the back lot. So, I mean, I've got generators running and pumps running and air conditioners running, all kinds of crazy stuff. And then it was a converted square dance studio that was attached to the house as my lab.
That's exciting. Hey, we got a good crowd tonight. Let's see what we got. We got here. We got Mr. Swenson was first in line, and he is back in Florida. Good to have you down here, Walter. Jim Conboy from New England RV Roof. And as Walter says, I got a new roof and then drove to Florida. And he got a new roof at New England RV Roof. Don Hodge is here in Athens, Texas, where we do not have to winterize. I apologize for being tardy. Well, you're not too tardy.
Hey, it's only
Michelle Fontaine, hello, gang. And Michelle, she's going to head down to Coastal Acres to hang out with 54 RVing women and lots of buzz about Mike Sokol, too. She shared the show announcement with the ladies down there, and 54 women. That's the Women of New England or RVing Women, Michelle. I forget what the correct name is. Love the multimeters in the background.
That would be me.
The Sokol?
Yeah, that way I got meters back here. Let's see if anyone recognizes what this black light poster is.
Let me blow you up. The black light thing?
The black light poster. It's Electroharmonics. Remember the guitar stuff, the fuzz boxes, Big Muff Pie, all this stuff from the 70s? I'm a 70s musician. Why you guys are remembering this? Well, you children out there.
RV Comfort. Please let people know that now winter is coming. There's an optional dual fuel gas electric system available. Is this a sales pitch? This is an option.
Well, yeah, it is. I know these guys, and they make a really decent product. They do, but so basically, it's a backup electric heater for your RV in case you run out of propane.
Tell us a little bit more. It says an aftermarket product. The majority of many RVers don't realize something like this is available even for the weekend warriors. This is a good way to reduce cold weather damage to your RV. Tell us a little bit more about it, Mike.
Well, basically, this is a system that's actually built. You can think of it kind of like a home electric furnace that's built into your existing RV's furnace. So normally you just have gas power, normally propane, but this builds into it. So now you can alternate between using propane and using electricity, whichever one is cheaper for you. And if you run out of propane, guess what? It automatically kicks over and runs off of electricity. This is way safer than any space heater. Space heaters are really to be avoided in an RV if you can, because this is where a lot of the fires start. So this is a safe way to do it. So we could do a show on that sometime if you like. I'm very familiar with it.
Well, we're always open to suggestion. It sounds like an interesting idea. Randy or Chris, have you ever played around with that device? Or are you familiar with it?
I personally have not.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it. I've not worked with one directly. but I do know, the product very well, and if it'll fit in the RV that you have, it's certainly a good option, and a lot of people are very pleased with it. So this was something Gary Bunzer talked about back in the day, and so yeah, it's certainly a good option for you.
So what do you do? Get rid of your existing heater?
No, not at all. You actually add it on.
Yep.
So what you're going to do, it's a little bit dependent on the layout of the RV or the RV and the furnace, right? So if depending on how the you can actually orient a furnace vertically if you want to. You can do some different things with it and how the ductwork works. But if it's set up the right way, this attaches, excuse me, to the back of the existing furnace that you have. So if you have like an Atwood furnace or Dometic or whatever you've got, and it's electric heating elements that connect in, and the electronics connect in with the electronics in the furnace, and so it allows you to have electric heat. So it uses the electric elements in place of the propane burner. And it can, as Mike said, can switch back and forth, whatever you want to do. But it does allow you to use the electricity for heating your RV. So that's
the electricity from shore power.
So is this something that Randy would sell in the parts and accessory store, or would it be in the service department?
Well, it could be either one, right? So you can certainly sell it. I don't know if RV distribution companies like NTP Stag or anybody sells it through their catalogs, but it's something that certainly could be sold through the store and installed by the dealership service department.
Mike Perry might know something about it. I saw he checked in here.
Yeah. Hey, Audrey's got a scolding for you there, John.
Yeah, well, she's still got another trip to go, and this past week.
You posting that picture this morning about your rig in the middle of a snowfield.
Right, exactly.
Does that make
the
the
amazing
snow
thing about that, and we'll let you guys in on it. That is a 100% AI picture. I took a picture of the RV, and then I told this nano banana program to cover that RV with snow.
Oh, boy.
So it did. And then I said, give it another few inches and some wind. And it did.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you one thing
about snow. Jim Roy is just joined, so it should be snowing in Maine anytime soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've already had our first nor'easter of the season.
Yeah, but that was rain.
It was rain, but imagine if it had been snow.
Right.
Yeah, that's what people said. It would have been several inches of rain. I mean, several inches of snow. But, it's a good thing that heater thing was brought up, because we had just talked about that before we went on the air about, utilizing other sources of energy except for propane that are easier to get to. And certainly when you're plugged into a system and you can get the power off the shore power, then it's not a bad deal. Any idea, Mike, what those programs cost, what those products cost?
I'm terrible at pricing. I know that the installation should be done by a professional. You don't want to just casually stick this in.
Yep.
But I can. I'll tell you what. I'll post something here next week over on my newsletter. How's that? I'll just look up some stuff and put that over on RVelectricity.com for you.
Cool. And if people want to subscribe to your newsletter, Mike, what do they do?
Right now, I'm in transition from Substack, which I've got over 1,000 articles on there, and that's my rvelectricity.substack.com, and that's a free subscription. But I'm moving everything over to a big library system over on rvelectricity.com, simply because I have over 1,000 articles, and the only way to figure stuff out is you don't even know what to look for. So I'm also building an LMS in there, that is a learning management system, so that I can actually do for credit actual real classes online on this sort of thing. So cool. It's all getting interesting. But yeah, just go to right now. If you just go to rvelectricity.com and you can sign up. But for right now, the newsletters are all coming from my Substack. So it's rvelectricity.substack.com.
Okay. And we should also say that Mr. Dougherty and Mr. Murray are dedicating their time here to us as a resource. And they make a living selling this stuff, but through our relationship, they're here to answer your questions. So, folks, if you've got a question about electricity or anything else, when it comes to changing over to the winter season or anything along those lines, tonight is the night we brought out the experts to answer your questions. So fire away. And,
Walter,
And nobody answered my question yet.
Walter must have been reading.
I don't. I'm
Mike,
sorry.
go ahead.
I was going to say, Chris is wanting to know if we remember about, what was it, the blizzard of what?
No, sir. The
78?
Great Flood
The Great
of
Flood.
1889.
1880. I have no idea. You mean I could have Googled it, but see, I didn't. I forgot.
But even though he told
So
you
I'm in
before we went on the air.
in Johnstown. I'm in Johnstown, Pennsylvania, and so we're here with the PRVCA doing our RVTI Level 2. This is where, at the time, it was the greatest natural disaster that ever occurred in the United States, and so over 2,000 people died here as a result of that. There's a national memorial here for it, and as well as a couple of other museums and things. So,
What year was that?
and
2,000
18, yeah, yep,
Wow.
it was 1889,
Oh, well, Bob,
and
you were in high
and,
school then. What was it like?
still in grade school. No.
oh, it's grade school. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, I got a question for Mr. Murray. What do you got? 9 dealerships now?
Yeah. Yes.
How difficult is it hiring?
That was Vermont for yes.
Yeah.
Hey.
yep.
Well,
How difficult is
no.
it hiring techs these days? With
Oh,
all the training programs,
there's no text. You have to build everything. If you stumble across one, it was you might as well go buy a lottery ticket, or you just found a pink unicorn, or he's they're no good and no one wants them. There's a couple of those out there. A lot of it, look, Chris will tell you, we're going after the younger guys and trying to get people with some mechanical abilities, finding people in other fields that may apply to ours. One thing in the RV industry is we utilize electricians, plumbers, welders, carpenters, hydraulic specialists, mechanics. If you got any of those skills, we can find a spot for you. You just got to get somebody that wants to learn the rest of the RV. So it is very difficult finding any employees now that are worth anything. And technicians are even harder. So,
wow. Even with all that training out there.
One of the interesting things that we have going on here with the training program, and this is something RVTI has put out this week, is that we're getting the high schools and the VOTEC schools and so forth involved in the program. And so in this level 2 class here, we have 2 instructors from Reading Muhlenberg Technical and Career Center that is part of the state network. They are here getting their level 2, but they're already going to be teaching level 1 at their center. Johnstown Career and Technical Center is, they already have a trained instructor to teach the high school students. And so this is kind of happening all over the country. So not only are we teaching on the dealer level and also the independent RV technicians and things like that are out there, but we're also bringing it up to that level. And then we also have a college program in Texas. So there's a program that's starting down there that someone is going to be able to actually get an associate's degree in as an RV technician. So the program, I mean, John and Bob, you guys know for years, all you guys know for years, we've worked on, building a technician training program. It was something that Gary and a lot of other people have worked on for years. And we're really seeing a lot of progress in that now, which is, it's exciting to be part of it.
Well, also, RVTI announced this week that they're doing it in Spanish, right?
They are. So the first, when I was doing the program with Worcester County, I was pushing a lot for Spanish translation because there were a lot of people in the system there and students that I had at the Worcester County Sheriff's Office in the jail that were Spanish speaking only. And so it was very difficult for them to participate in the program. The first bilingual program that they had is up in Canada. So the Canadian RVDA paid to have it translated into French for their dealers up there. And so now it's being done in Spanish, and I understand they're also looking at other languages and spreading the curriculum out, more globally. So James Lebomsky from PRVCA has been in contact with people at RVTI about that, as they're the authorized learning partner here. And so I guess they're going global with our curriculum program, which is very exciting.
Randy, are you part of the partnering program with RVTI? In other words, are you large enough that you have training at all your facilities yourself, either for continuous training of the techs that you have or the new ones that you bring in?
So yes, we've actually had employees.
He's got that one.
Chris, a little bit. We had at one point we had a gentleman that trained technicians for us full time. That was his job. He actually got a proctorship with the RVTI, so he could actually give the tests. And we did very well with that for a while. That was faded away gracefully. Unfortunately, the gentleman has passed away now. So we've kind of slowed down that part of the process. I am personally training level 1 right now with all our technicians that are not level 1. We're requiring them to be all level 1 certified by the end of the year. And so anybody that's not, so we've actually, it's been me every Monday at 4:00 or Tuesday at 4:00, utilizing some AI and RVTI tools. And we're having a good time learning about, we just finished up LP and we're heading into electricity. So, yeah. Teaching it is like, I don't want to say teaching is the easy part, and Chris will attest to that, but finding people that want to learn. That's the harder thing. You could fill a room with people, big deal. Get people that are going to pay attention and grasp on what we're teaching and be able to spit it back at you and care to spit it back at you. That's the tough part right now. And it's weird. When I was coming up through the ranks as an electrician, we went to school at night on our own, and they usually paid for it, but we had to get there. We had to deal with it. We had to take the tests, and we didn't get paid for any of that. But we did it to better ourselves, and that's not it. That wouldn't happen now. I mean, I'm paying these guys overtime to stay and listen to me talk. Right? It's crazy.
Not in this day and age. So John Sinisi says that many consumers don't realize that the stabilizer jacks on the trailers should be up during winterization. They can bend when tires lose air and frost heaves in pavement. Interesting tip, right? Any comment?
I will tell a customer to leave them up. There's really no need to leave them down. And especially a hydraulic jack. I'm not going to expose any more hydraulic jacks than necessary throughout the winter months. And I'll probably put a little silicone on them before I put them away. So I would agree leaving them up. I'm doing it for a different reason. I don't think personally they'll probably bend, but if it's stored, it's safe. If it's not stored, it's exposed. That's my thinking.
Interesting. Don Haas puts a little plug in here for NRVTA concentrates. RVTI for dealerships, NRVTA concentrates on entrepreneurs who want to start their own mobile RV tech inspector program. Both are greatly needed. Absolutely. No, absolutely.
I think it's important to point out that with today's RVs, with so much electronics in them, that having a properly trained technician is so important, because it's unlike the days where somebody who really didn't know much about them but could fix a car could come in and do the work. It's a totally different ballgame now. Would you agree, guys? Especially from the electronics point of view, Mike?
Oh yeah, the RVs are essentially smart houses, and I mean there's so much stuff that's integrated on them that if you make mistakes, it can be very, very expensive. So yeah, I think absolutely, they need training on all the different aspects of it, because you have 12-volt systems and 120-volt systems, and you've got charging systems and battery systems and solar systems and wow, stuff that you don't normally have on your house. Yeah, I've found that many residential electricians are completely lost the first time they see an RV. They could be a great residential electrician, but man, you need the training on all these different systems.
Alongside 120 is a no everywhere else in the world.
Well, Michael, you kind of hit the circuit with a lot of publicity this week on a little certain, certain
GMI.
Now I don't have 2 hours, Mike.
Oh, so, no. I can do this in 5 seconds, or I can do this in 5 hours, or I can do this in a couple of minutes. Let's do this couple of minutes, huh?
Go ahead. Take a shot and tell us what it's all about.
Tell us what we're going to talk about.
We're going to talk about something that's called a grounding monitor interrupter. And it's a new device that's going to be required on all new RVs built sometime late in 2026. We're not sure of the exact date, but it will be built inside of the RV. And it does 3 things. It's first off, it looks at grounding. Okay, so it's a grounding thing, to make sure that the chassis and skin of this is properly grounded. The second thing, it monitors it to make sure the ground has a sufficient connection that will trip a circuit breaker if something shorts out. And then it's an interrupter. So it's got relays in it that can disconnect your RV from that power if it determines that the ground is insufficient. Now, it's different from a ground fault circuit interrupter because it's not looking for leakage. It's trying to detect that there is a good ground. Now, this contrary to the press releases that were released incorrectly because they were generated via AI. These are not going to go in the pedestals of the campground. These are mounting inside of all the new RVs. And once you have that, you have to plug into a pedestal that's been properly wired, that has a proper ground, proper polarity and such. And if not, no power is let into your RV and there's no bypass around it.
How are you going to know that, Mike?
You're going to know when you plug in and you get no power.
No power. So it's kind of a rude awakening.
It is a rude awakening. One of the things I'm working on is a training program for technicians for campgrounds so that they can go and begin testing and maintaining pedestals properly. Because if you have a pedestal that's not wired right, has improper ground, any of a variety of miswiring conditions, it will not power up. Does that make sense? Now, there will eventually be aftermarket versions, but right now, as of third quarter of 2026, it's some date yet to be exactly determined. All new RVs are going to be required to have this built into them.
Here's a question from Mr. Swenson. How does the GMI contrast with existing EMS like Progressive Industries?
Okay, so an EMS, 2 things. First off, the EMS from Progressive or any of these other ones does not really test the ground. All it's doing is looking for voltage difference between the ground and the neutral, which can be fooled. And secondly, none of the existing units out there, and these are the ones from Progressive, from Hughes, from you name it, none of them have a relay contact to disconnect the ground wire. It was a UL requirement that was mounted all the way through. And what that meant was you could have a variety of failure mechanisms in the pedestal that I have noted, for instance, reverse polarity bootleg ground, reflected hot ground conditions. And so basically what that can do is inject a hot skin voltage into your RV remotely. So this, what they call a level 2 GMI, has a built-in contact. So if something goes wrong or finds a voltage on the ground, it disconnects you. The EMSs cannot disconnect you from a voltage on the ground coming in.
What are you going to do with a standalone generator?
Standalone generators are going to require a bonding plug. I invented that like 15 years ago. I use them.
Well, you said they could be fooled, and so my head went to the bonding plug. Will that still work?
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. The bonding plug will work on that because, again, the bonding plug, what it's doing is it's creating this thing is looking for a path back to neutral, what they call the neutral bond in the service panel. You can't get around this with driving a ground rod in. Ground rod won't work. And I'm hoping this will also be able to detect something that's called a bootleg ground. But I didn't see that in the first UL thing. I actually wrote the original paper for this that I think is turned into this GMI.
I got a question from Audrey. And Lindy, I see your question, and I'll get you on in a minute. But going back to Audrey's point, who wants to take that one?
Oh, yeah. They will still continue to protect your rig. And remember, a built-in power surge connector or whatever, EMS as they'd like to call it, will still protect it as good as it's done. And in fact, I estimate it will probably protect you against 99% of the miswiring problems out there. It's that other 1% that are extremely dangerous. So they've never been able to protect you. It's not like they're stopping it. I mean, they only do so much. But I wrote about that. You can look on my website and look up RPBG, reverse polarity bootleg ground, for something very terrifying, or a what we call a reflected hot skin condition. So more stuff on that. I'm a student of failure. I've been doing this for 50 years.
Mike,
if I can, to Mike's point, you talk about reflected hot skin. I remember years ago I was working, and one of my big clients was a carnival company out of North Carolina that would come up to the Dutchess County Fair. I do lots and lots of work for them at 2 different sites, and I'm working on trying to fix a slide out system on a Holiday Rambler fifth wheel. And I'm lying on the ground, and I go up, and my forearms touch the frame, and I got bit pretty badly. And so I get up having a fit, and somebody heard me. What's the matter? I just got shocked by this. And the company's electricians came flying, because they do wire their units together, and they wired into the service at the fair or wherever they're at, and they do these different things. And so they ended up going back and finding a fault in another unit that was tied into the whole system. So everybody's RV was hot. I wasn't looking for it. I was working on a slide out, but they did find a fault there. So that's something that can certainly happen. So it's nice to know that there's something that's going to help protect against that.
Right. And it should be able to protect against every circumstance that I can think of. And so I think it's a good thing. It truly is. I've been writing about this whole thing going on 15 years. Gary Bunzer is the very first guy that got me involved and said I needed to write for the RV industry, because I'd already been doing this in the rock and roll industry, industrial power and everything, for decades before that.
Mm-hmm. This is a long question. The guy's got a Tesla Cybertruck that I power with my Airstream Basecamp 20 with. I use either 120 volt 20 amp from the bed of the Cyber, or a dog bone plugged into a 240 50 amp, taking one phase for 120 to the trailer. Everything works on the trailer, except I am not able to run the AC. When I switch the AC on the breaker
too much inrush current. So most likely some sort of a soft start unit installed on the air conditioner would help. Just remember, when an induction motor, like a compressor motor, starts up, it can draw 5 times as much amperage for about a quarter of a second, what they call the inrush current. And that's what trips a lot of inverters, generators, and all that other sort of stuff. So yeah, that's absolutely, anytime you have any kind of inverter that you're powering this, whether it's a generator inverter or one built into a truck or whatever, you better put soft start units in the air conditioners themselves.
Smoke the inverter.
Randy, how are those soft starts selling in the store? Are you seeing a lot of the people picking those up now?
So, like back 10 years ago, when we had a lot of people talking about them because they were kind of needed, when people wanted to run on generators, or they were starting to dabble around with different types of batteries and inverters to run air conditioners. We did some soft start stuff. The Airstream community was a big player in that. The negative was that Dometic, the guys that made the stop starts, would tell us that if we installed a stop start on their air conditioner, it would void the warranty. So they're building a part to put in their air conditioners, but they would void a warranty if we put it in their air conditioners. So we talked a lot of people out of it, or we worked around it. Nowadays, I just put together a solar system for a gentleman that wanted soft starts in his air conditioner, and I'm running his air conditioner off batteries through an inverter. And I was like, I'm not going to put it in until I see I need it. And when I started the thing up, it didn't even blink the lights in that camper. So today's air conditioner is a lot different than the air conditioner of old. So I unless you're doing something like trying to run it on a very small inverter, just like what Mike said, I probably would try to talk you out of it unless it was needed for a specific situation. Today's air conditioner is using a lot less power on startup, a lot easier to run. If there's a cube air conditioner now made by Lippert that has a variable speed compressor on it, so it's
no inrush
like this. Yeah, so there's ways around it. So I haven't seen the need in a while. When the need was there, they didn't let us do it, and now the need's not there. There's ways around it, right?
Oh, Chris fell over. What happened, Chris?
I had this thing. Yeah.
Right,
I'm very emotional about this. No, I have sleepless nights about it. No, it fell off. I have it on a stack of pads here. And so I hit it the wrong way. My apologies. So what's also interesting, though, is that right now, as we speak, there is an aftermarket or a supplier conference going on in Indiana for suppliers putting new stuff out there. Air Excel, which makes the Coleman Mach air conditioner, announced a new air conditioner today that is just what you were talking about, Randy. So it's an 18,000 BTU with the soft start. Energy efficient. There's a lot of different things about it. So you're going to start seeing that next year, I think. So that technology is really kind of ramping up, and you'll be able to run those. I work with Go Power a little bit and doing some great stuff with their inverter systems and that kind of thing. Go Power is part of Dometic. Dometic now has a 48 volt DC air conditioner. That most of the time you're going to see that in from an OEM, right? Because it's challenging to.
I've got one to play with.
To retrofit that, but that matches up with the Go Power system on a board, which is so you're going to be able to run that thing for quite a while on their a set of their 300 amp batteries, so 300 amp hour batteries. So. It's there's still a lot of stuff coming along with this technology. I'm sure, Mike, you've done a lot of stuff with the new battery technology we talked about at Hershey that's coming down the road.
We got a quote here from Walter Swenson that we haven't really touched the campground side. It says, I read a funny article. This will not cost campgrounds any money, unquote. The funny side.
Baloney.
Not properly
that makes me laugh.
Maintain the pedestals now. So, yeah, it is going to cost some campgrounds who didn't already have a proper plan. Mike, tell us what you're doing with respect to the great campgrounds and why it's important that they're going to need to do these upgrades.
They're going to, and again, if they had been actually maintaining them and testing them all along, it would be less of a bite. But right now, this is going to be kind of self-regulating, because if the pedestals don't work, then you're going to have customers that are very, very angry with you. And so it's going to require that, I think this is a fabulous opportunity for mobile technicians that can do campground, pedestal maintenance and testing during off seasons. One of the things that's interesting about this test of how these GMIs work is you can't just use a conventional meter to confirm that the ground is correct. You have to do something it's called a ground loop impedance tester. It will cost them, but mostly labor, and this will force them to replace old, worn-out receptacles, especially the 30 amp ones. That the wire your plug just wants to fall out of them. They're not terribly expensive, but they're going to need to clean up their act, as it were.
Well, you're sitting there 200 or 300 or 500 sites. You got a big project.
It will add up. It absolutely does. But unless they do, once these new, and it's not going to happen on day one, but as soon as you start rolling these in, these RVs into the system out there, they're really going to need to begin maintaining them. And I see the same sort of thing like in hotel rooms and old bars and old churches. I mean, it's everywhere. They never want to maintain or test or anything. But it's extremely important that pedestals are wired correctly and the receptacles are not worn out, because that's what causes your plugs to burn up. That's what causes dangerous voltages to occur, especially if your neutral opens up, and it can burn up a pile of electronics inside of your RV. And again, very expensive to fix.
What about Shirley's comment here? If an RV park owner is accused of the new RV GMI not working on a pedestal at the park, the RV park owner will not have knowledge of this new system in the new RVs.
Oh, that's not true. We're promoting this. We're beginning a promotional campaign for all the parks that we can find that will describe what's going to happen and what they're going to need to do to make sure that their pedestals are compliant. We'll work with it. So there will be no excuse. But they need to know about it. They do. And then they can decide which parts to start working on. They could fix one section of the campground and then work on the next one and work on the next one. They don't have to change out all 500 pedestals overnight. But, it may be that they've got this first section, and anybody that comes in and says they've got a GMI, you see a 2026 rig coming in, you're going to want to put them out in that section.
Yeah, but realistically, how many RV owners are going to pull up to the campground and say, "Oh, by the way, I've got a GMI"? They just want to know what the site is.
I realize that this is going to be a bit of a kerfuffle. Admittedly,
how do you spell that?
I'm not sure. I thought of that earlier. I said I'm looking for an opportunity to say the word. Did I say it correctly?
I think you did. Yes.
Means. Question.
It's got to be a Yiddish thing or something, right?
All right, but look at Linda Jean.
Lithuanian.
She's got a follow up this. She says the question was soft start on the AC or between the trailer and the pedestal.
I do work with both of them. You'll have a better result if you have them mounted inside of the air conditioner units themselves. But there is something that's called, basically an inline one that just plugs onto the pedestal. And that works pretty well too, but not with super complex loads. So
it doesn't take it all the way down either, does it? Because of the microwaves and stuff.
You can't. That's where you have problems if you have really complicated loads inside of it. It doesn't drop it all down, but it does reduce the voltage and the current. Whereas the ones that are built inside of the RV, the air conditioners themselves are on their own complete separate little world out there. So they don't interfere with anything else. But some people are afraid to climb up on top of their RVs. Other times I see guys that are walking around on top of their big rigs in their flip-flops with a pressure washer and no safety harness. And I'm just looking at these guys and I'm going, do they have a death wish? But
would you guys all agree that the level of sophistication varies from campground to campground, and even within campgrounds with old sections versus new sections? So you can't say, well, one park is 100% clear, right?
It's going to take a while. It will take years to work through all of the campgrounds in terms of their pedestals, but we'll have a better result. And then some of these are going to. I've had a number of discussions with everyone about metered power versus non-metered power, and they also have to face the fact that people are coming in with electric vehicles that they want to charge. It's a wild and woolly time.
This is a great comment from Hank Montgomery. Typical campgrounds will say that other RVs don't have a problem, so it must be no problem.
You.
So that's what always happens. The RV park points to me, and I'm pointing to them. And I ask them, "Are you a licensed electrician?" And they say, "Well, I know one."
But I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
Yeah, right. You beat me to it, Chris. So Jim
Right.
Roy up at Silver Moose Restoration says we're getting the soft starts pre-installed from the factory for our Airstream customers. I don't understand that, Jim, because you do mostly restorations and stuff. So I don't. Any of you guys
New
understand
stuff.
that?
You see with it.
Yeah, you can get the AC, or you can order the air conditioner with the soft start. I know Airxcel and Coleman mock better than Dometic right now, but that's an option. So you just order it with that unit. A lot of the manufacturers are coming with the soft starts installed already. So that's, it's something that's coming from the air conditioner manufacturers. I don't know if Dometic, Mike, I know you're playing with these things. I don't know if Dometic's got one. I know Airxcel does.
I have seen it, but I know that they pulled it out of production. There was a problem, and I think they've got it repaired now. And again, the real fix is what they've done in Europe here for decades, and basically that's variable speed inverter compressors, because there's no inrush at all. That's basically how your mini splits work at your house, but it's all built into the rooftop unit, and that is really the nicest way. It's more efficient, it's quieter, and it doesn't have any inrush current.
Yeah, but Jim Roy just commented, but they order new ACs for the rebuilds he does. So if he's got an old unit that needs a new AC, he'll just order a new AC as opposed to try to fix.
Yeah, we got a big audience tonight, and we appreciate that. You guys are fantastic. Are the soft starts for macerator motors apples and oranges?
Oh, isn't it?
Huh?
So most of the macerators are going to be 12 volts DC.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're not going to have a soft start type of device for that. So it's working right off of battery power.
Make sure you got enough battery and the right size breaker and wire feeding it to handle the ampacity, and let her fly. And don't put anything stupid in it.
Oh.
John's got a question here. Mike, you want to take that one?
Oh, yeah. So testing will require testing every pedestal outlet individually. That is correct. Every single one that we need to be done to just confirm, and I would think that, that after they're done the first time, then it's a pretty quick check, let's say the following year or whatever. And I've been a proponent of doing a periodic testing, just like I've got a furnace guy coming in on Friday for my 102-year-old house. It's got a modern steam boiler in it, right? But they will go through, double check everything, mark the initials on the tag, tag it that it's been tested, write it in their little book, and then my insurance company likes the fact that I get my boiler tested every year. And so I think eventually they're going to be working on some sort of a system that will require notification, at the very least, a label on that pedestal that it was tested by such and such technician on such and such a date.
What are the National Campground Association doing to foster education on this?
I don't know. I've been here everybody knows where I am, and nobody calls until it's like an emergency.
Well, I thought Sandy Ellingson was going to come on. I was speaking to her today.
I call you when it's not an emergency, Mike. Come on.
That's true. You do. You just sometimes when it's just something really funny that's happened.
Yeah, exactly.
But I know Sandy was hoping to come on and say hello, but I know she pushed your memos and your process out to a lot of her campgrounds.
Jump down to Aaron Hirsch, Bob, down the end there. Jump down to Aaron Hirsch.
Hey, Aaron. Good stuff, guys. Service knowledge is not only important to our team, but so helpful to our community to get a better understanding. Aaron is general manager of Campers Inn up in Chichester, and great to have you on, Aaron. I'm glad you joined us, and I hope some of your service guys are looking out there too. So, Jim Mullen, within the medical facilities, the insurance companies have pushed for electrical distribution equipment to be scanned for heat at the breakers. The layers have pushed for the public bathrooms to have these announcers in case someone needs attention, like the patient did. What's that got to do with RVs? Am I missing something?
I don't know. Apples and oranges, maybe. I am not sure.
No, the last statement. the insurance companies push.
So will the insurance
pedestals
companies
to be
push?
tested.
So will the insurance companies? I don't know. You know, I've talked to a number of the insurance companies directly about this sort of thing. They did not seem to be interested 10 years ago. I don't know. There's an awful lot of confusion when a fire happens in an RV and someone just says it's an electrical fire, but nobody seems to follow up on it just because, you know, the diagnostics of it. I do a lot of forensic analysis, and it's tough to do. You got to understand a lot about, you know, the various failure mechanisms out there. But, you know, a lot of them are simple, like dog hair in your portable space heater in there. I mean, there's pets and rugs and flammable stuff and fire hazards.
Lions and tigers.
Lions and tigers and fur. Oh my!
We should take this. We should take this.
About GMIs in
Before we-
Canada and Mexico.
Before we get into that, we should take a second to let people know that we see a lot of new people that are on for the first time tonight, and we thank you for joining us. But also let you know that this show happens every Wednesday night with a wide variety of different topics. So if you liked what you saw tonight, you know, like and share, but make it a point, put it in your calendar, join us every Wednesday night to find out some interesting stuff. Like last week, we talked about, you know, winterizing. Today, we're talking about electrical and plumbing and other needs. But you know what? This is the time of year when you've got to take these precautions because, as Ryan said in his tape earlier in the show, everything that we do correctly now means we don't have to redo it or repair it come March and April. So prevention, well, Don says it right here. Education is the key. So anyway, go to Murray.
Yep.
What's happening in Canada and Mexico, Mike?
It's not a requirement. This is NEC. This is the National Electrical Code. This is what we call NFPA 1192, which is the code book of how RVs are built, right? But there's no requirement in campgrounds. That's in 1194. It's another book that I mean, it's just full of numbers and acronyms and such. But if the campgrounds are wired to current electrical code properly, then they should be absolutely fine with a GMI equipped RV. The problem is in Mexico, there's tremendous amount of places that are wired up without grounds at all. And it's not going to work. So there needs to be some special things happen if you want to take your GMI equipped RV to Mexico. Canada should be fine. But again, they are very, very strict about grounding requirements in Canada. I think more so than USA.
Same with LP.
Same with LP. Yeah. I mean, those guys are strict, man.
Well, look at that. We are running up against the clock. Time well spent. I hope you've been time well spent with the show, Don. Let's go kind of circular around here. Chris, any closing comments? Then we'll go to Randy, and we'll let Mike finish off the back end.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's actually been a great conversation tonight about electricity, electrical safety, that type of thing. I would encourage people to not be concerned about this new requirement that's going in there as far as RVs are concerned. If you buy a new RV, you're going to have this new equipment at some point. And the new equipment has been released, as I understand it, at Open House. So there is at least a prototype version that's out there. Using the current equipment you have is great. Test your pedestal. You can test your equipment, make sure that what you have is pretty safe. And, you know, the RV business has been around for a long time. We've had RVs plugging into RV pedestals for 100 years. So as long as you use a little bit of care, you're going to be in good shape, and just enjoy, take the extra minute to test things, make sure you're in good shape, and enjoy your travel.
Good points. Good words. Mr. Murray, let me get you back up here. There you go.
So the way I explain it to our customers and the way I feel about it is, I don't think the campgrounds are out there trying to do anybody any harm or doing an injustice or anything like that, but things get used a lot and they wear out. So protect yourself. Make sure that you're protecting your property, which is your RV, from anything that it could happen to it. And electrical and water are real things. You're hooking up to an unknown power source and unknown water source every time you use the RV outside of your own property, and protect yourself from it. Know how to test, buy the appropriate gear to make sure that you're safe, your RV is safe, and you're not going to hurt the systems that you're joining once you go to different campgrounds around the area. So protect yourself with the appropriate stuff, and have fun. That's the biggest thing. Have fun with them. That's what you buy
fun
them for.
business.
Have fun with them for. I think we often get all serious and talk about all the fixing and the repairs and the maintenance and the bad. Have fun with the damn thing, man. Go out and have fun with it.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. And I apologize. We just didn't get to everybody that wanted to comment tonight, and this is probably one of our largest audiences of the year. So if you have any comments or questions, feel free to email them to me, and we'll catch up on them maybe next week. We'll do a little segment on that. I think based on the incredible knowledge that you guys transferred to us tonight, maybe we got to do this kind of show twice a year, maybe once a quarter. Michael, what do you have to say, and how do you want to end your end of it?
Well, I think the GMIs are just one more evolution in electrical safety, because remember back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, there was no ground, and then they added grounds, and then in the 70s, they added ground fault circuit interrupts, and then they added arc fault circuit interrupts. This is one more thing. Don't worry about it. This is going to work. I'm doing my best to make sure that all the press releases that are going out have all the proper information. You come to my site. Like I said, I'm going to be the place that has whatever information I can find, I'm going to put there, and it will be 100% vetted to be correct. So don't worry about it. Go out and have fun. But as they noted, protect yourself, protect your property. If you feel a shock or a tingle, disconnect. Don't accept it.
There we go.
You can feel a shot or a tingle. So, DePietro, you got any shots or tingles?
Well, maybe tingles, yeah.
Any words of wisdom, Mr. DePietro?
These guys are the best. We're fortunate to have them. And based on the questions that we've got from our audience, it's a topic that we need to pay more attention to. And you know what? Just be diligent. I think everybody will agree with just be diligent and, take the precautions. Don't do crazy stuff, and enjoy your RV.
All right. And thank you very much to our fans and all the new fans that we had tonight. So thanks for sharing this with your communities, guys. And we'll catch up to you guys down the road. Thank you very much.
Next week, everyone. Have a good evening.
Later, everyone.